Speaking of Mark Bates, it's time to say goodbye to me and hello to Mark so that we can start tasting some cheese. So I invite Mark Bates and Katie Bray to host.
Thank you, Steve. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's there. Yes, there's Katie's coming on. Good. All right. So, welcome to the Elliker first ever virtual Elliker cheese tray. Speculation on whether we'll ever do one again, who knows? But we're going to have fun for the next hour. And Elliker cheese tray has been around for a long time, not as long as our organization. Our history timeline shows that Dr. Elliker started this event in 1959. And as far as I know, it's happened every year except last year. And this is our first ever virtual. So thank you for joining us. Co-hosting with me is Katie Bray. Katie Bray is the executive director of the Oregon Cheese Guild. And we work closely. Oregon Cheese Guild members and ODI members are partners in a lot of things they do. We heard from some of them in the program, and our cheeses today all come from Oregon Cheese Guild members. So, Katie, can you join me?
Hi, Mark.
Hey, welcome.
This is so fun. Just because we can't be in person doesn't mean we can't taste cheese together.
Right, that's right. Yes. How'd you get your screen lined up? Mine's all spread out over the tape. So, hey.
You look great. So is this the first virtual cheese tasting that you've ever put together, been involved in organizing?
It is. So we know why it is what it is. It's the first. So, yes. We started last December. Well, the concept was suggested probably last August, but by December, it was certain we were needed to go in this direction. And so, again, looking at what others had done and those kind of things, it kind of looked like, oh, we ought to have 4 cheeses in the box. So I asked the cheese tray committee members if they could only have 4 cheeses, which 4 cheeses would they like to find when they opened the box? And I thought, hey, we ask that, we tally the results, then we go with it. Well, not that simple. I worked the data 2 or 3 different ways. And again, what became clear from the data was the members wanted cheeses from these particular 4 cheese makers. And other things that came out of that, they wanted an aged cheese, something vintage as we go there. And then they wanted something new. They wanted something that, hey, what's the newest thing kind of thing. And we actually ended up with 2 of our cheeses that qualify for something new. The one that I pegged for new was Face to Face, a sheep milk and cow milk blend from Face Rock. They also said they wanted something flavored. And so, or OSU, that's where we got our Gochu smoked cheddar, qualifying as both new and flavored. And they also wanted something blue. They wanted something from Rogue Creamery. So again, Face to Face, Tillamook, something vintage, man. 2010, that's a vintage. Gochu cheddar and Caveman blue. So that's how we got where we are. The committee normally selects the cheese for this event, but in a different manner. So the other thing that happened from the committee, and I wanted to point out that in your box, you should have had a nice sheet, two-sided, of all the people. Now, all the people on here contributed to either or both of the cheese tray and the mini auction baskets. So again, we have several non-cheese partners involved this year. Maduri Farms provided our dried fruit. Glory Bee Honey provided some honey, Oregon hazelnuts, 2 flavors of hazelnuts. You can find it, the flavors on the back, Himalayan salt and cinnamon sugar. And then also some milk and dark chocolate round out. The crackers round out what's in your box. So that's the inventory. What are we going to do with it, Katie?
Well, I hope we're going to get some of it in our mouths.
Yeah. I hope everybody got a beverage.
Gotten ready yet. The order that we're going to be tasting them is first the face-to-face mixed milk, followed by the Tillamook 10-year, and then we're actually going to do the blue third and the OSU smoked cheese last. So if any of you haven't gotten your cheeses out and ready yet, now is a great time to do that. And Mark, I know you because you're one of my board directors for the Oregon Cheese Guild, but you've also got a day job. You're on some other boards.
Well, yes, I'm on both the ODI board and the Oregon Cheese Guild board. I guess that's why we're working together. I'm more and more retired all the time, but I sure love cheese, and hanging out with ODI and Oregon Cheese Guild is a great place to be.
And you are a serious hobbyist. What are some of the cheeses you had fun making this past year?
Cheeses born here on the North Coast include Beach Blue, Harvest Moon, and working title of the latest is called Little Stinker. I didn't share some of my beverage options that I chose. I happen to like Viognier as a white wine, and I do like white with most cheeses. Matches easier than red, in my opinion. I've also got, for the sparkling, I've got a alter ego Guardian Angel, which is blueberry pomegranate. That's my sub for red wine. It's sparkling. And boy, I want to try this one. I got some 1999 port that I think is going to go with a couple of these stronger flavored cheeses.
Well, I'm with you. I'm a white wine girl when it comes to cheese, and specifically Riesling. I just love Riesling with cheese. So I've got myself a Brooks Winery Riesling from the Willamette Valley that I think is actually going to go pretty well with almost all of these. I'd love to hear from the folks in the audience. Put it in the chat. What are you all enjoying for your happy hour cheese tasting with us? It might be kind of fun to see what some of the other folks are drinking as well. And Mark, there are lots of experts in the audience, but there might be some newbies to tasting, and I know you've done your share.
I've just looked in the chat. You mentioned the chat. Please, somebody put vodka, Coors Light, a Chardonnay, rose of Pinot Noir. So, hey, yeah, we're getting some good, Red Bull Dragon Fruit. Okay. Looks like we got, there's an oldie but a goodie, Boone's Farm.
That's great. So Mark, for those of us who haven't done a lot of cheese tasting, can you give us just a quick tutorial on what we should be tasting for and how to go about this important job.
Well, again, I come at it from a technical point, but I don't let it get in the way of my enjoyment either. Technically, again, I serve as a technical judge and have trained students in tasting and that type of thing. So again, from the technical aspect, we are looking for a good, clean flavor, meaning it's free from unpleasant things. And then the texture appropriate for the type of cheese that it is. So again, that's technically looking at it. Again, it comes down for what we're doing today is what kind of cheese do you like? Try a new one because it may be your new best friend. So.
That's great. And we'll have some other folks joining on to do little interviews with as we taste through these, but Greg Drobot from Face Rock Creamery wasn't able to join us today. So I think we get the honors of tasting his cheese together. This one is the Face to Face, which is a mixed milk cheese, cow and sheep's milk.
I forgot to say I'm also a purist. I always taste the cheese and then see what goes with it. So again, it goes back to that technical thing. What does the cheese taste like? How does it feel in your mouth? Since we're doing a tasting, I won't get into some of the technical ways we evaluate texture, like playing with it between our fingers and those kind of things. We will look at how the cheese breaks. Again, this is an aged cheese and in a cheddar style category. And we would expect it to break fairly easily because of its age, where a young cheese would bend quite a bit before it broke. So that's a clue to age. They sold it to me as an aged cheese. Is it really aged? Kind of thing. And then, your nose, remember, your nose is thousands times more sensitive than your taste buds. So don't forget to do the aroma because that's where part of the enjoyment is.
This one just smells so creamy and fresh. Well, hey, while we give everybody a chance to taste this one, we do have a video from Greg Drobot talking a little bit about this cheese. So Matt, maybe you can pull that video up and taste your first cheese, see what you like as a pairing with it, and we'll be back with you in a couple minutes after the video.
Right. Try something with it.
Hello, Oregon cheese fans. My name is Greg Drobot, and I am the president of Face Rock Creamery. Face Rock Creamery is located in Bandon, Oregon, on the southern Oregon coast. We're about 60 miles from the California border and located right on Highway 101 for easy visitation. Face Rock Creamery specializes in producing high-quality cheddar cheeses, and we source all of our milk from local dairies. Most of our milk comes from family dairies in the Coquille Valley, which is about 20 miles to the east of us. We are very excited to present our newest cheese face-to-face for our virtual wedge tasting. What's unique about this face-to-face cheese, as its name indicates, it's a mixed milk cheddar. So it's a combination of cow's milk from our dairies that we've been buying milk from for the last 10 years, as well as fresh sheep's milk. We buy our sheep's milk from a brand new dairy about 20 miles to the south of us in the town of Langlois, Oregon. And Langlois has its own cheesemaking tradition, but the owners of the new dairy, Cora and Woody Woodrow, came to us at Face Rock and wanted to start milking cows. They've been in lambing for generations. And we said, yes, we'll partner. We love their story. We love local milk, and anyone who knows anything about sheep milk, to be able to get it fresh and not frozen is a huge deal. So we contracted with them that we purchase all of the milk that they produce, and we make a wonderful mixed milk cheddar. It's aged for about 2 years, has a wonderful butteriness to it, All of Face Rock's cheeses, I think, have a buttery signature, but it has that really nice sheep flavor, that lanolin flavor, and it's just starting to get the crystallization. So I think it's one of the better cheeses we've ever come up with. So I hope you enjoy. I know I'm in good company with the rest of the cheeses on this this tasting. So thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the cheese.
Mm, that is so good. I tasted it with a couple of different things on my tray here.
Mm.
The winner
That-
for me is with the
that
dry
is-
apricot. I feel like the creaminess of it needs a little kind of acidity and the fruit, and I love those two together. What about you, Mark?
Something that wasn't in the box I tried with was a Cosmic Crisp apple. And oh, it was just so nice. Again, the tartness from the apple, and that cheese is as expected with sheep milk in it, very creamy. Uh, just so creamy in the mouth, especially with that apple along with it. So I just had a touch of it with a little of the milk chocolate. And for me, not that it tastes bad, it just, I'm a purist. I like the cheese, and the chocolate is a little bit overwhelming. I need the chocolate a little thinner, I think, to match the cheese, or more cheese to match the chocolate. My ratio of chocolate to cheese is not right.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times with cheese, you need something that, especially when it's this creamy, you need something kind of zippy and zingy. And then
Yeah.
the chocolate maybe was a little too smooth with smooth.
So yeah, we got some people liking it. Yeah. I mean, anybody else out there like that? Love the flavor and mouthfeel. Yeah, great job, Face Rock. Absolutely.
Yeah, that stuff is great. And I'm not positive, but I think that you can get that at Market of Choice stores. I'm pretty sure that New Seasons is going to be bringing that in.
Yeah, I'm not positive, but it's definitely available in those types of stores. And I think New Seasons and Market of Choice would be the first places I would look for it. It hasn't. We have other Face Rock cheeses locally out here on the North Coast, but that one hasn't joined them yet. So it is new. It's not everywhere.
Something new. And yes, of course, you can get it at the Face Rock Make facility and shop.
Oh yeah,
Gunman.
and Face Rock has just opened a second location, I believe, in Coos Bay, a little
That's
further up the coast. And so again, they've now got two locations if you're down on the South Coast. So
And if you time it just right in Bandon, you can get there right when the fresh curds are coming out. And they, I'm
yeah,
sure about current protocols, but you can certainly at least pick some of them up there if you make it to the facility. Well, thanks so much, Mark. This was super fun. I hope you hang on.
Yes.
And if we have some other questions for you, you can.
Oh yeah, I'll be standing by and maybe throw some things into the chat.
Perfect. So I think up next, we've got Amy Spence, another one of your board members, joining us to taste through the Tillamook. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Katie. How are you?
I am fantastic. Couldn't be better when I'm eating cheese,
I'm drinking wine too. Yeah.
drinking wine. So, Amy, you've been on are you just finishing up your second year on the ODI board?
Yeah, actually, it's been 3 years. I had to calculate that out. We skipped a year because of COVID. So I was thinking 2 years, but it's actually been 3. So yeah, this is my last year.
And what's your day job? Tell me a little bit about what you do at Tillamook.
I'm the corporate lab manager. I've been here for 8 years. Been in this job for 7 years. Started as the lab manager. And so in this role, I manage the managers of our labs. So we have several labs corporate wide, some in our Eastern Oregon location, Boardman, and of course in Tillamook. We have micro labs, chemistry labs, sensory labs, and they all work together to make the best cheese. In this job, I work with R&D, sales, operations. I'm more strategic planning, figuring out, what tests we're doing, how we're doing them, what new technology is out there. I work with a lot of vendors, and it's a very challenging job. I don't do the same thing every day.
That sounds super exciting. And you have a really special cheese for us today on the tray. Can you tell us a little bit about the birth of this vintage cheese program and who came up with that, how it started?
So this came up through our product excellence team. So Jill Allen is the director of that team. And this started last year in 2010. And they decided to release cheese in flights. So the same cheese, the same recipe, everything is aged naturally in our warehouses. So they're releasing every year a 3-year, a 4-year, a 5-year, a 6-year, and then a 10-year. So this is our 2010. It was released last year as our 10-year cheese. So this is the last time you're going to see this cheese. So if you got a box, you got it in your box, be very lucky, because you're not going to see this cheese ever again. Once it's sold out, it's sold out. And so we release these in flights, and that way you can, since it's the same recipe, you could taste it at a medium, which is graded longer than 60 days. You can eat it at a sharp, which is around 2 years, and then you can start this flight at 3 years. And so then you can start tasting the nuances and the textures that come as it ages. The moisture drops, you have higher acidity, the proteins start to break down. And so it's a really unique way to taste our cheese as it ages.
It's just so exciting. And did I also understand you correctly? Was the 2010 the first year that you released of this 10-year aging program as well?
It is. So we started this last year. So this is the first 10-year cheese we've released.
So
it's very special.
Folks out there getting the very first one ever of this 10-year age program, but it's also the last of it.
It is. Yeah.
I feel very honored to be one of the recipients of it. So what would you recommend if folks want to go out there and stock up on a whole bunch of it? Can this cheese keep for a while in its packaging? How long could we hold on to it now that it's been aged 10 years?
You could hang on to it for a while. I have cheese in my fridge from Tillamook that's been sealed, and it's been in there for a couple of years. So it just depends on the humidity and the temperature of the refrigerator. You don't want it too cold, you don't want it too warm. And of course, you don't want to change and fluctuate that temperature and humidity too much, or your cheese might not age very well.
Well, I want to get into some of the nuances of this particular cheese, but I also want to give folks a chance to taste it. And we have another great video that Tillamook put together that's just a short and quick kind of background on the company with Patrick, who joined us earlier this afternoon. So everyone go ahead and taste your Tillamook 10-year aged cheddar, and we'll take it away to a short video while you do so.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kreitzer, President and CEO of the Tillamook County Creamery Association. Welcome to our Creamery Visitor Center in the town of Tillamook, Oregon. Tillamook is a small town on the beautiful Pacific Coast where we got our start more than a century ago. Today, it remains home to our headquarters, much of our cheese and ice cream manufacturing, and this beautiful visitor center where in non-pandemic times, we welcome more than 1 million visitors each year. Today, Tillamook is a 111-year-old farmer-owned cooperative with the fastest growing cheese and ice cream brand in the United States. In 1909, the farmers in this area came together, decided to work together to bring their cheese to market. At that time, they decided to stamp the name of our town on the rind of the cheese, and that started our brand. An agricultural cooperative is a unique business, formed for the benefit of the farmers that supply raw material to that business and for the communities in which it operates. In our case, the 80 farming families in this area own and govern the operations of the Tillamook County Creamery Association. They elect from among those families a board of directors, and as the CEO of the business, I report to that board. All of the profits from this business are either returned to the farming families that supply the milk or are reinvested in the business for its long-term health. Our cooperative structure and the long-term view that our farmers take allow us to make investments for the long term in this business and to continue to innovate for generations to come. Today, we're a unique blend of growth-oriented challenger brand and 100-year-old agricultural cooperative. We like to say we're a 100-year-old startup. As a farmer-owned cooperative, we want to educate people about farming and about food production, essentially shortening the distance between farmers and food lovers. It's one of the reasons that we love to welcome so many people here to our Creamery Visitor Center every year. We want them to get to know our farmers, get to know our team, and learn more about the premium dairy products that we make here every day. This Creamery Visitor Center gives people a good sense for that. In fact, you can stand here in this very spot and watch our cheese being made and packaged. Each of us that works here at Tillamook takes great pride in our uncompromising quality. In fact, the quality of our products is what this business has been built on over the last 100 years. From our farm services team that works closely with our farmers, to our R&D team that creates innovative new products, to our 650 strong production team that makes cheese and ice cream here at this location. Creating artisan products at scale is a core part of our business, as is innovation. And consumer input is what fuels that innovation. We're always asking, always listening. People are very passionate about our brand and our products, and they're not shy about telling us what they think. Our loyal fan base is incredible. And of course, we're working now to expand that fan base across the country. You can find Tillamook cheese and Tillamook ice cream in almost every market in the nation. As we've introduced new consumers to our brand across the country, we've adopted a bold challenger mindset in our marketing. This has helped us to reset consumers' expectations of our categories and has positioned this small co-op on the coast of Oregon as a fast-growing market leader and a thought leader in our industry. We are a stakeholder value-driven business. In 2017, our board adopted our stewardship charter, which formalizes our commitment to serving all of the stakeholders affected by this business. And in fact, last month, we became a certified B Corporation. Our business success has allowed us to invest in the communities where we operate and to partner with others to address some of the large-scale issues facing our state, for example, food insecurity. We're always looking for new ways to leverage our business success to help all farmers across the country. This year, we partnered with American Farmland Trust on our All for Farmers program. Through that program, we donated $1.6 million to help farmers through direct grants and through the preservation of farmland across the country. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me here at our Creamery Visitor Center in Tillamook, Oregon. I hope you learned a bit about our co-op and about our bold plans to bring dairy done right to homes all across America.
Well, I have all kinds of impressions and ideas, but before I even say anything, I want to hear from the expert. What kinds of things should we be tasting for in this cheese?
Okay, well, so if you cut it open, you've already seen that it crumbles so very easily. So that's because it's a very dry cheese. A lot of moisture's already gone out of it. It crumbles so easily. And then you're first gonna want to smell it, right? So like Mark was saying, that is kind of your first sensation with anything you're eating is smelling it. So you're gonna smell a little bit of course, that deep cheddar. It's gonna smell a little bit rustic, smell a little grassy and woodsy in there. It's just, you can smell that it's a very sharp cheese, right? You'll see that you might see on some of your edges, you have these crystals. Whoops, I dropped mine. You have some of these, it just broke really easily. You have these crystals. So there's two types of crystals you're going to see in this cheese. You're going to see some on the outside, and that could be lactic acid crystals. So what happens is your bacteria in there, they're breaking down that lactose into lactic acid. It's going to combine with your calcium and create crystals. And then you'll sometimes feel that crunch when you eat it. And those are tyrosine crystals. So that's when the bacteria breaks down the protein. The tyrosine, the amino acid, those kind of clump together and create crystals, and that gives you that big crunch that you're going to taste when you bite into it. So that's what you're going to taste. Your flavor profile is going to be that woodsy, it's thick umami flavor. It's very creamy. And you have that rich texture with that big crunch in there. It should shatter in your mouth. So that's what you're going to be looking for when you eat this.
I made the comment, and I had the same observation. For that age of cheese, it's still so creamy and moist, rich. It's really astonishing.
It's very, very good. It's delicious.
And you said that all along, this is the exact same recipe that you would see. It's just a matter of
Age.
It's
Yes.
It's
And our product excellence team, they grade all of this cheese. They make sure that, it's aging correctly, and they're releasing the flight that's going to age the best.
I love it. How about pairings? What are your favorite pairings with this cheese?
So in the box, I've looked in the box, and I pulled out, a lot of people have already commented, pulled out the dried apricots. Those are delicious with it. Some of the hazelnuts, that goes really well. The spice, any kind of spiced nuts. I didn't try the cinnamon sugar, but I tried the salted hazelnuts, and those are really good. And then the dark chocolate goes really well with it. Of course, you have to have just a little bit of the chocolate with a little bit more of the cheese, but that pairs so well together. Now, if you
have to admit, I was maybe cheating a little bit in what we've with the guild. We've done a few virtual tastings, and in one of them, this same 10-year aged cheddar of yours was paired with a dark chocolate, and
it's very good.
It just knocks my socks off. I absolutely love it.
It's delicious. A lot of people were saying honey. I didn't try it with the honey, but that, of course, you can pair it with that. Anything really. If you have on hand at your home some pineapple, that sweet, acidic fruit really pairs well with the acid of the cheese. So it really makes it go well together.
I love the suggestion too in the chat about a Marionberry habanero jelly.
Yeah, I saw that.
A little of that heat into the equation to up all the rest of the flavors. I think bringing those three, that combination together would be phenomenal.
Yeah, that sounds really wonderful. I wish I had that with me right now. I don't.
Probably a Kelly's. I'm wondering if it's a Kelly's jelly. They're one of our favorite local Oregon brands.
Yeah, maybe. So to drink, I'm just drinking water right now because I'm still at work, but a pineapple cider or Gewürztraminer would be pair well with this. Maybe just a sweeter wine, a sweeter cider. It just brings out the flavor.
Any beer fans out there taste any beers that are phenomenal with this cheese, or do you have one you would recommend, Amy?
I don't. Maybe a dark beer would be good, but I don't know. Any beer fans out there have any suggestions?
Maybe something like a porter in that kind of the same vein of the, oh yeah, there we go, right there in the chat.
Yeah, a barley wine.
Dark chocolate pairs.
Dark chocolate porter or stout, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, more of a darker beer. I think that would be delicious.
I do too. So a lot of us have been kind of talking about how this past year has been for our companies. I'm feeling a lot of hope these days and looking forward. Is there anything you can tell us about that has been a positive development about something that has changed in this past year that's going to bring good things for the future for you?
Company wise, we're doing a lot of R&D work. So a lot of boots on the ground. We've just released some amazing cream cheese spreads. So look those out in your store. So we've got several different flavors: plain, strawberry, vegetable, olive and chive, or sorry, onion and chive. So those are really delicious. And then we've got new custards and pints. So all custard. So a lot of, that egg base, and so very creamy.
Like a frozen custard.
A frozen custard, yeah. So
Ooh,
look
just
for
in
those in
time
your store.
for summer. Can you tell us those?
I don't know the specific flavors. I haven't tried any, but I've heard that they're delicious from our R&D team.
Nice.
Has anyone tried them? I know there's a couple R&D people on the chat. Anyone have some suggestions for those custards? Here in Tillamook, we don't get them in our store as fast as you guys do in other parts of the state, which is really sad,
And the spreadables, are those going to be in little tubs, like tub with a lid okay, and then all those different flavors?
Yes. Yeah. So someone said the salted caramel frozen custard is delicious. That sounds really yummy. Yes. Yeah.
And then do you happen to know where folks can find this 2010 cheddar that everybody got to taste today, in case they do want to stock up before it's all gone?
Yeah, well, you can try tillamook.com, tillamookshop.com. That's our e-commerce site. So you might be able to find it there if it's not sold out. Or you can go to Market of Choice. We sell our Maker's Reserve there.
Yes, I know for sure that they carry this specific vintage at Market of Choice. And there are, that's such a great store because it's locally owned and you can find them all over the state, not just in the Portland area. So
yeah, and this year we're releasing our 2011. So if you find the 2010 and the 2011, you can compare the 10-year with an 11-year, because this is really 11-year now.
that's so great. Is there anything else you want folks to know about Tillamook or this cheese, or?
It's a great company to work for. It's a great area to work in. If you're, I work in Tillamook at the corporate office, so it's a beautiful area. Not that Boardman isn't beautiful too. It's, it's got its own beauty. But a wonderful company. They treat their employees really well. And I really enjoy working here.
That's so great. Well, it's been a pleasure to do this tasting with you, and thank you so much for including this amazing treat for all of us in the Cheesetray box.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. I've had fun. Enjoy the cheeses, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. With my water.
I think up next we've got David Gremels joining us from Rogue Creamery. There he is. Hi, David.
Hi, Katie. Thank you. It's great to be here, and it's great to have our cheese plated with so many wonderful cheeses. And I think it's a ratio that's perfect. It's I look at this cheese plate, and I created a lovely little plate representing all the cheeses here. So yeah, as you can see, I've been diving into it and exploring all the pairings that are suggested. It's been quite fun, but we have two creameries that were a part of the origination of the Oregon Cheese Guild, and then two new creameries that, and so it's just a nice balance and shows the growth of the Oregon Cheese Guild and certainly the inspiration that Oregon State University brings to inspiring new cheesemakers in Oregon through the pilot plant. So that we're grateful for. So wonderful, and
We're so lucky to have them.
It's such a welcoming plate, and the flavors are remarkable. Yeah, and that last cheddar, wow, it's just so balanced for 10 years. And as I stated in my comments, I had crystal envy. As you know, I really strive for those crystals in our blue cheeses as they age over time. And so that was beautifully balanced. And face to face with that sheep milk, that was just so yummy. So, and all the pairings are delicious. So, what are you drinking there?
I've got a Brooks Riesling. I love Riesling with all types of cheeses, so I thought this one would go pretty nice. And they're actually a fellow B Corp of yours.
Fantastic. Yes, I know that. I love their wines. Yeah. And so I was holding another fellow B Corp in my hand. So I have Hopworks IPA. So
Do you have the bottle? Can you show us the bottle?
yeah, I have the can. There we go. Yeah, look at that. So
Nice.
and they produce organic beers, and they're also a B Corp. And then also I decided to, pay tribute to a local vineyard. This is Calhoun Vineyard, and they're biodynamic, and we certify their vines and leaves organically through Oregon Tilth for our Rogue River Blue cheese. So we use their grape leaves to wrap our Rogue River Blue. So, and those are certified organic by the team at Rogue. We work closely with Calhoun. And so this is their Spiral 36. It's the Roussan Marsan Viognier blend. So it's perfect with all the cheeses. It
That's
really,
phenomenal, and they're one of my favorites.
yeah.
Cheers
And
to that.
yeah.
Well, it's been a crazy, crazy year for all of us in so many ways, but particularly in Southern Oregon and in your community, with the addition of the forest fires and all of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how Rogue Creamery has responded to that?
Yeah, it really hit us close to home because we had 4 team members who lost their homes. And so we worked hard to provide shelter, converting our Airbnbs and converting an apartment that we have to living spaces for the team. But there was more work to be done, GoFundMe projects, and then noticing the homelessness in this region is just heartbreaking. And so partnering with Rogue Food Unites and the United Way of Jackson County to contribute cheese. And so we were contributing pallets of cheese to the Southern Oregon arm of the Oregon Food Bank called Access. And we just couldn't do it alone. So we created a sustainable campaign called Cheese is Love. And a Portland company reached out and yes, thank you. And they wanted to support it in a big way. So they bought 2 vats, and that's Airstream Adventures. So if you're looking for an RV, I recommend going to Airstream because they are supporting cheese in a big way and supporting our Cheese is Love program. And basically with every block of cheese sold, we're contributing a block to the community, to the food bank, as well as Rogue Food Unites. And Rogue Food Unites is a new not-for-profit, and it is supporting those restaurants that really are hanging on by a thread by providing them with a fair fee or price for creating meals for those in need in our area. So there are 2,700 families that are displaced as a result of the fires. So it's a big need, and we're doing our small part as so many other companies and individuals are doing in Southern Oregon. So the Cheese is Love program was born out of the Alameda fire and also the pandemic to support individuals and families in our region.
So if folks want to get involved in that, how can they do that? Where should they look for those cheeses?
So if you go to our website, roguecreamery.com, you'll see the Cheese is Love cheddar. So it's a beautifully aged cheddar. It's about 2 years. And then we also have a t-shirt, so you can contribute by buying a t-shirt or a block of cheese. We've had a number of people from all over the United States buy 50 blocks of cheese and say, you know, I just want one. So that is a huge impact, right? So they're contributing the other 49 that we would have shipped to them, plus the 50 that are being donated. So, wow. So we're
This
seeing—
is phenomenal. This past year has been incredible, seeing the way that all folks, you know, industry members and just consumers alike want to help out and help their neighbor and help everybody through this. It's
yeah. And then we have industry comrades like the Oregon Cheese Cave. So Melody is supporting the Cheeses Love program too. So buying the cheese and reselling it. So it's almost like quadrupling the impact locally. So it's huge.
That's amazing. Do you have any statistics? Do you happen to know how much you've been able to donate through this program so far?
So far, I believe we've donated 2,000 pounds since it started. So, and we see it as ongoing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of 8 ounce.
Here, oh, go ahead.
That's a lot of 8-ounce blocks of cheese going out. Yeah.
That is a lot of cheese. And hey, who doesn't agree with the philosophy that cheese is love in ways?
So inspirational. It's, yeah.
So speaking of, what can you tell us about the cheese that's on our plates here today, the Caveman? What's the origin story of this particular cheese?
So acquiring the Rogue Creamery nearly 2 decades ago, there was an incredible brand that came from Rogue Creamery's first outpost, which was in Grants Pass. And that brand was established in 1928. And I included it in the acquisition and really needed just a place to put it. And so a cheese that I would, you know, believe that represented the terroir of this region. And so, and what I noted is that as cheeses age in our cheese caves, they're man-made cheese caves, but they've been operating for 80 years. They really reflect the natural flora and bacteria in these caves, and the bacteria, the fungus, all just impress upon the cheese a flavor profile. So in leaving wheels of our classic signature blue in the caves, these wheels would rind and just rind beautifully with a Pinot Roque 40 that of course we put into the vat, but also with the natural bacteria and fungus and mold in these caves. And it just really is a flavor that I believe is a reflection of this region. And I was really honored to have a microbiologist taste this cheese a number of years ago at an ACS conference. And she was Sister Noella then, now she's Mother Noella. And she tasted it and said, you know, you own this cheese. Never change the recipe. This really represents the region in which you make it. So with that and that inspiration, it got the name Caveman Blue. And really proud to place the brand Caveman on this cheese. A reflection of the region and certainly using the tagline from Grants Pass, in the domain of the caveman.
Yeah, I love that it invokes the cheese cave and the history of the region and ties all those concepts together. Well, I know lots of folks are excited to taste this cheese. So let's take a step away. We can watch a quick little video about Rogue Creamery in general, and then we'll come back together to talk about what we've tasted after that. Matt?
In 1933, a small creamery opened its doors in Southern Oregon, creating jobs and supporting small farms in the Rogue River Valley in the midst of the Great Depression. Their success inspired the creamery's founder to visit Rockford and pursue his dream of creating a blue cheese rooted in tradition and inspired by Oregon terroir. Rogue Creamery began producing this new cheese, Oregon Blue, in 1954. Rogue Creamery, iconic handcrafted blue cheese from the heart of Southern Oregon, unleashing flavors and character unlike any other cheese in the world.
In 2002, when I purchased Rogue Creamery, I bought more than its recipes. I bought a legacy and a bit of Northwest pride. I worked hard to take it to the next level.
Since 2002, Rogue Creamery has become an international success, winning dozens of awards and countless admirers. Driven by a dedication to sustainability, President David Gremels led both the creamery and its dairy farm to become certified organic in 2014.
Going organic was the first step to becoming socially and environmentally responsible. We took it to another level and joined other businesses, becoming a B Corp. These are businesses who are doing business as a force of good and having a positive impact environmentally, socially, and economically.
B corporations are pioneering a better way to do business. They support a movement to build a more inclusive and sustainable economy. This community ranges across size and industry of leading enterprises such as Rogue Creamery, Patagonia, Natura, and Danone North America.
For the past 2 years, Rogue Creamery has been honored Best for the World, placing in the top 10% of B Corps worldwide for its positive impact on community and environment.
It is our hope to influence business leaders and the next generation through our delicious cheeses. And certainly in our practices, making the world a better place.
Well, David, I know that the Rogue River Blue is obviously the darling in your stable, but I have to say, I think personally, Caveman is my favorite of the cheeses that you make. It's just so creamy and has a bite at the same time, and it just melts in the mouth. Oh, I just love this cheese. Tell us what you taste in this cheese and what you hope others get out of it.
I agree. You know, we're outside of Rogue River Blue season, right? We start making it on the autumnal equinox and we release it a year later. And so we're pretty much out of stock and we're just waiting for that next release. So this is my go-to. Like you, I just love this cheese. I eat it daily. So it's a medium in spice. So I look for that in flavor, but I also look for the umami, which I call umami-licious in our cheeses. And then the sweet and the savory, and just a really medium in spice. And don't be shy, eat the rind with the paste, because that adds to the umami, but adds to the vegetal flavors as well. And wow, with the pairings, I just loved it. I loved it particularly with the dark chocolate. I loved it with the apricot. I loved it with the blueberry. I loved it with that floral honey. That honey, I smelled that honey. As Mark said, you know, don't be shy, smell. And I smelled tobacco in that honey. It's crazy. So the hint of tobacco with the Caveman Blue just was outstanding. So I just made a little tower. So here it is on this 34 degrees cracker, the Caveman Blue, dark chocolate, apricot, and a blueberry with a splash of honey. Salute.
Oh gosh, I'm on camera. I can't. I gotta keep this thing moving.
There you go. Look at that. I can't wait to try that combination. It sounds amazing. Yeah. I'm going to eat this off camera because this will just be so messy, but so delicious. And I think I'll pair it with the
I love that tobacco kind of cigar box note out of the honey. I totally get that as well.
That's just crazy. I haven't smelled a honey like that. And it just really it's a perfect pairing with the Caveman Blue. It's just like,
And
wow.
just since I can't be there in person, tell me how it's going with that Viognier that you've got, the Marsan Riesling
It's
blend.
just going so brilliantly because it's a Viognier Roussanne Marsan. And so it just has a hint of tropical. It's high on apricot, has a hint of honeysuckle. It's just perfectly balanced and it just resonates and brings out more flavor. I get more of the grain and grass notes coming out and a little bit of berry notes as well. So it's just really yummy. And I think it extends and elongates those savory notes, almost like cured bacon. Yeah. Cheers.
Well, those are amazing pairings with what the folks have on their plates. But I know we've been talking a little bit about some of the pairings that were maybe not in the box or things that other folks could add to it. And I don't know how many of you have a subscription to Culture Magazine, but you might want to check out your latest issue. This Caveman Blue is on the cover along with a pineapple. So can you get into that tropical category at all and tell me?
It's that. So that's interesting. I was invited to help a keynote speaker, Randy Harrington, just open up this room of bankers. Can you imagine? To get this room of bankers to talk across the table. And it was at the Grand Ole Opera House Convention Center in Tennessee, in Nashville, Tennessee. And so he invited me to do a tasting with him on stage. And so I blended some coffee because it was a morning event. And I thought, well, a sparkling wine. So got some sparkling wine from Iraq and also looked for some juices locally and started tasting. I wanted to go beyond the typical apple and orange juice. So pineapple was mind-blowing. And then papaya, over the moon. It was just the tropical notes with blue cheese, just take it to another level. And 20 years later, here we are on the cover of Culture Magazine talking about Caveman Blue and pineapple. It's so cool. But yeah, those tropical fruits with blue, just unbelievable. So yeah.
Well, I had a mango and fully intended to include it as part of this tasting, but my kids ate it all for breakfast this morning. So I'm going to have to rely on the rest of you out there. If anybody out there has something tropical to taste with this blue, let us know how it is.
Yeah, it's a remarkable pairing. So that just really led me down the road of tasting cheeses with tropical fruits, guava jam. Oh, outstanding. Yeah, and also, you know, with the berry kombuchas. Yeah, dynamite. So
that's a great tip and another lovely local product.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
get close to the hour, but David, is there anything else folks should be looking for from Rogue Creamery in the coming year? We're emerging from a pretty difficult one, so give us some positive news.
Yeah, such a pivotal year for us because most of our business was food service, and sadly, that went away. Our heart breaks for restaurant owners and chefs, and we're just cheering them on and look forward to them coming back because I miss going to restaurants. And so we had to move into pre-packs and exact weight packaging, and we're doing a lot of that. And so all of our blues will be available in a 4.2 ounce wedge coming soon at New Seasons, Market of Choice, independent cheese shops, and Fred Meyer, as well as Whole Foods and Marie's Cheese Shops nationwide. So we're pretty excited about the new exact weight pre-pack program that we're launching. And it's so far going good. And we're looking forward to it expanding and certainly expanding the reach of like cheeses that represent our brand, Oregon Blue, for example. Yeah.
Well, it's exciting to hear about your news for the future, and thank you so much for this lovely cheese and for those great pairings and just your company. It's so great to get to spend this moment with you, David. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's great being here. Enjoy, and congratulations to the other cheesemakers that are on this plate and all Oregon cheesemakers, and to everyone who took home an award today at the award ceremony. Congratulations.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Hi, Robin. I think I see you up there. Last but not
Hey, how's it going?
least, with our last cheese that we're trying, the Smoky Cheddar.
Oh my gosh, I don't know about all of you, but are you as all uncomfortable as I am with the amount of cheese we have consumed in this hour? This is just like doing this in person. We all walk out of there sorry about the amount of cheese we ate, but sorry, not sorry.
Not sorry at all. You can see my motto. Eat more cheese. I love
more cheese.
So Robin, I know we've gotten to hear a lot about the exciting things happening at OSU, but can you just give us the quick overview of your program, the program that you run there, and the cool things that happen there?
Oh my gosh. Well, I do have the coolest job at OSU. All 5 of those scholarship recipients are students that are on the Creamery crew, and they are just amazing. From beginning to end. I'm losing a lot this year, but I'm gaining a lot of newbies too. So I'm really excited about that. We employ right now about 15 students at OSU. I work really hard with some of our advisors to get students in as early as we can to the Creamery, so that by the time they are done, they have 3 or 4 years under their belt. They continue on to feed Tillamook, Rogue Creamery, all of the creameries you've heard from today. So it's just, it is such a blessing to watch all of these kids make this award-winning cheese and be able to show their hard work in a store before they graduate. So it's just amazing. This is by far the best job in the world.
Well, you're doing such important work over there. We heard from Sam and Patrick in that roadmap for the future of Oregon food and beverage, how important it is to get qualified, enthusiastic individuals into our workforce. It's the same thing I hear from our little guys and big guys all the time. They just can't find good people. And so thank you so much for doing what you're doing.
I think right now we're at about 100% placement rate for the students graduating out of the Creamery and moving on into whether it's Tillamook, whether it's down at Rogue Creamery, whether it's ODA. Our students are everywhere, and it just, it connects back. They have the ability to come back and represent ODI as a former as an alumni, as a Creamery alumni, as a scholarship alumni. They really get in touch with it all. And the most amazing thing is that these companies are finally realizing, not finally, but realizing, truly realizing that what we're producing with our students is some of the best darn dairy employees you can have. And the fact that they're all here in Oregon allows me to not miss them so much when they leave. That's the hardest part of my job. Is I grew very fond of this crew, and then this crew blossoms and graduates and goes off to do amazing, great things.
Well, it was so cool seeing those videos yesterday and seeing Parker Cooper and Sean Fells and all, I know those guys now and everything that they're doing and they've done since their time there at OSU. It's really neat. So, the students are making all of that cheese there and selling it. How much cheese do you make and how many different kinds are you selling there? And how can folks get it?
Wowza. When I started as the Creamery manager, there were 2 cheeses. We now have 17 varieties. Most of them are cheddars. The one you'll be tasting today, the smoked gochujang cheddar, we have a non-smoked version of that. the university is in the process of rebranding Beaver Classic. And in that rebranding, we are about to release, which those of you who are winning the auction baskets, you are all going to get the unreleased dill garlic cheddar, which I'm not even a dill fan, and I love this stuff. So hold on, you'll get it, and you'll see it coming out. It's in Market of Choice. Market of Choice is a great supporter of us. We actually make a collaborative provolone with them that they sell in their stores. They send a couple of their cheese stewards to come and make cheese with us, and we make the cheese together. So we have an unlimited amount of cheese now, which I absolutely love. And my students are really diving into what it takes to be an R&D professional. All of these flavors, these are flavors that came about when a student was like, hey, we have extra curds at the end of a make. Let's throw some stuff in there. And then 3 months later, they say, Robin, taste the dill garlic. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, this is what it's all about. Teaching these students, getting their hands wet, getting their feet wet, and just moving through the practice of being able to step into a creamery here in Oregon or anywhere and know exactly what they're doing.
It's so cool. You can give them the technical building blocks and then also nurture their creativity at the same time.
Absolutely.
So speaking of, can you tell me a little bit about this particular cheese? How did this one come about, and what should folks be looking for as they taste it?
So this is a really incredibly special cheese to us. Once again, at the end of a cheese make, some of the students decided, hey, we have some Korean red chili flakes. Let's toss that into the curds and see what we come up with. Unfortunately, we all know cheese is not an instant gratification unless you're doing queso fresco or chèvre or things like that. We have to wait a little bit for us to get the true nuance. I mean, we didn't just have this 2010 cheese because it was left in the back of the cooler since 2010. No, this is care and concern and love towards these cheeses. So my students made this cheese. We spend a lot of time talking about trends, and what's the big flavor right now? It happens to be gochugaru, which is Korean red chili flakes. There's gochugaru sauce that everybody's putting on their wings. It's the hip flavor. So what we thought was, let's put some of those in the cheese. They did this untasted. We had the opportunity to provide a cheese to our local food cooperative for their 50th anniversary. They came in to taste all of our cheeses, and we offered them this one as well as all of our other ones. None of us had tasted this cheese. We all tasted it, and we all knew we had a winner. So for 2020, First Alternative Co-op had this exclusive. But during that time, we thought, well, they have the unsmoked version. We are award-winning for our smoked cheddar, so why not try and smoke this? So with the help of the Clark Meat Center at OSU, we took over a handful of these to throw in the smoker one day, and it came out, and we were thrilled. I used to be someone who could take a lot of heat in chilies. I can't do that anymore. I don't know whether this is an age thing or what, but to me, this is the depth of a habanero, but in a Korean red chili flake. The complexity.
I should mention, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. For those of you who are waiting for a video this time around to taste, there isn't one. So you're going to have to follow my lead and just start, shoving it in your mouth as Robin's tasting, talking.
Just eat it.
I love it that there's not such a heavy smoke on it. I feel like it's a nice light smoke, and the heat, you're right, it's a mellow heat, if there is.
One of the things that we do is we smoke it with apple wood. So as far as a a smoke, it is one of the more mild ones. It tends to add a little bit of sweet flavor to it. Oh, Katie, what are you putting on there? That looks divine. Honey.
The honey, yeah. I'm loving it with the honey.
So the complexity of these peppers, I don't know if any of you have tried habaneros. I can't, but I've tried a no heat habanero brought to you by Oregon State University. And the complexity of that chili flavor reminds me of this gochugaru. It just keeps changing. There's no heat, maybe a slight bit at the end, but it has so many depths. And then you put that smoke in there. And like David was saying earlier, umami is it. Right now, it's the time of umami. You want to taste roasted. You want to taste, what are the things we think of with umami? Mushrooms, pot roast. My mother's pot roast.
Like oily and
rich. This is rich. This is deep in flavor. And I just love it. And it's my new grated cheese on top of regular old tacos. It is the ultimate. That and our smoked cheddar. But we really wanted to bring flavor along with the smoke and along with just a really good cheddar to the table. And I really think we've done that. And this is 100% students that did this.
I think you hit the nail on the head. So what are you loving this paired with?
I am totally a dark beer fan, but I would have put the dark beer with, first of all, can I just say how honored I am to be on a cheese board with 2010 Tillamook, Caveman Blue, and Greg Durbot. I have to email Greg and tell him how amazing his cheese is. So just to be able to taste these things and to experience this cheese along with all of those other ingredients that you got, there isn't anything better.
Okay, my new favorite, I'm digging it totally with the dark chocolate too.
Yep. Something really super spicy cheeses are absolutely fantastic with dark chocolate, but that complexity of the pepper and the dark chocolate, even though there isn't the heat, it is spot on, Katie. You got, that is the best combo right there. Back to the drink. As I said, I love dark beers, and that's pretty much the only beers I drink. But with this, a Riesling, you have the Riesling tonight, something like a Pinot Grigio, something really light and crisp so that you don't miss out on the flavors of the cheese, and something that just goes along with the brightness of whatever that beverage is. I would even think for a beer side, something on the sour side would really complement this.
Yeah, something with a little bit of a little zip.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that's also good. So good. Thank you so much for this cheese and for sharing it with us.
You bet.
Robin, tell me, give me some good news. I've been asking everybody, what's something we can look forward to from OSU in the coming year?
Oh my gosh, the new dairy plant, the renovation of Withicum is so much in the forefront of my mind. I can't, if there's nights I'm not sleeping, I'm thinking about what Elizabeth and I are going to plan for all the nooks and crannies of the new dairy plant in Withicum. My former students are all mad that it didn't get done while they were here, but they're going to come back and contribute. The students I have now that are going to really be there for the very first part of this creamery, it just fills me. Elizabeth and I, when I was a student back in 2006, Elizabeth and I would stand in the dairy plant that was cobweb, dusty, unworking, everything, and said, how are we going to make this happen? And it's actually happening. A lot longer than we thought, but it's still happening. And I can't thank all of you enough for the support that you've given to this creamery, for the support you've given to my students. They are 100% why I get up every morning and go to work. That's the good news is, hold on, folks, we're getting a new dairy plant.
That's so exciting. I think I'm gonna vie for your title of having the best job in the world, because I feel that way about my job.
Exactly. I'll share it with you.
Well, luckily we do get to work together. You spent some time on our board, and of course I'm super looking forward to having Cheesemaker Education Day in person again next January. And hopefully we will get to check out that new facility as well.
I can't wait to have you all back here. This has been a long year, and we're well deserving of it to change and bring everybody back to campus.
Well, congratulations to everything that you've accomplished, and your students and your cheese and your personal successes, and it's really neat. Thank you so much for being part of this. And it's actually a great segue into checking back with Hank on the auction and the fundraising efforts on that front. So thanks everybody so much for joining us. This was a wonderful next best way other than being together in person, for getting to taste some cheese together. And thanks everybody for participating in the chat. It was really fun to see a lot of the comments that you made and things that you're loving, and just how much love there is for all of these awesome Oregon cheeses.
Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, Mark. I think this is your cue to cut back to Hank and check in on the auction to wrap it all up.
Yeah, I'm looking for Hank. I see his name. Hank, are you there?
Here. I'm here.
What's-
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's the word?
Well, the word is we need to get all these baskets sold. So if you're looking at that, do it quickly. And then we'd like to give a special thank you to everyone who donated cheese. We hope to ship the items the next week. Thank you all for your attendance. Our students, thank you for their donations. This year, we've awarded $7,300 in body felt scholarship to dairy students. From all of us here at ODI, we offer you a sincere thanks for making our first virtual convention a success. We hope to see you in person very soon. Thank you for your attendance, and good night.
Thank you, Hank. Thanks, everybody. The auction is closed. The process will be you get an email that says you've got a bill. As soon as you settle up your bill, we'll get address information and get some things shipped to you next week. Thanks for everybody's support for both the cheese tray and the auction, as well as ODI. And thanks so much to all of the companies that donated the many cheeses and other products. Have a good night, everybody. See you next year in person.